Thank you, Sally, so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Regina, can you explain what sound therapy is and how it differs from music therapy?
Music therapy is used for many different things, but it's where interaction takes place, where there may be working with drums or learning to use piano or many other interactive things to help the brain and the body recover or even just grow. Sound therapy could be in many, many forms. For instance, even sound that you can't hear, because it's about getting frequencies near the body or in the body. It's about repetition, and it's about resonance with what the body needs.
Now, I know you've worked with tuning forks and energy psychology for many years, but more recently getting sound into the body. Can you explain why that's different from just listening to music with headphones?
Yes, as a matter of fact, tuning forks get sound into the body. You activate them and you place them on the body and they go into the body very specifically. But you'll only get about a 30 to 40 second frequency going into the body.
Right.
But I discovered a sound bed about a year and a half ago, and the base of the bed is actually filled with speakers. Transducers is what they call them. And the low frequencies that the body needs the most are coming through the bed. Then you also get the headphones, which carry binaural beats, creating what's called brain entrainment, and then usually or possibly a beautiful composition to go along with that. So that's a sustained repetition of a resonance that the body needs, whereas a tuning fork is only 30 seconds and it takes work. But on a sound bed, you could fall asleep. And that's what's so wonderful about vibroacoustic therapy on a sound bed.
Now, I've heard the phrase sound alters matter. Can you explain this?
Yes. You have seen, I'm sure, where a glass will explode from sound, someone singing. You may have even heard of Galloping Gertie. This was a bridge that actually collapsed. You could go to YouTube and see that, where a sound frequency actually caused metal and concrete to become very fluid and then collapse in less than 8 minutes. And the reason is that everything is a vibration. So when you're infusing a sound into matter of any kind, it alters its frequency, and more so with a physical body, because our cells, the receptors on our cells open when the sound enters our body.
What research is there on what tuning forks can do?
There is a wonderful scientist researcher in France, and he is able to, with one tuning fork, to kill a cancer cell in a petri dish.
Oh, wow.
So that's how effective just a tuning fork can be on our physical body. And then when you add something like energy psychology into the mix, it becomes a much greater effect on our emotional body.
How about the sound bed, or as you call it, vibroacoustics?
Well, everything has its own vibration, like I said, and its repetition. So if that cell is ready to be altered, and naturally there are things that can stop it from being demolished, but the possibilities exist that the sound bed can alter a cancer cell.
Wow. Why would the iPod and case work?
Well, when I said that sound alters matter, it also travels differently through different mediums. For instance, if there's no air, like in space, there can be no sound. So sound travels through the medium of air. Sound can travel through the medium of water. It can travel through wood, like it would in your guitars, and it can also travel very, very quickly through metal. So when you get your vibroacoustic music in an iPod, and you put it in a very inexpensive iPod case, this one specifically because of the metal, and you put the metal up against the body, it becomes a sustained tuning fork. So you're getting perfect digital frequencies into the body via these speakers. So for $10, you have a digital tuning fork that you can sleep with. You can put it on your stomach. You can put it on your heart. You can hang it on your belt. You can put it behind you if you have a backache. Most of all, you can multitask. You can watch television with it and you can sleep with it. And I had said that sound therapy is resonance and repetition. So you'll get a 13-hour charge out of an iPod and you can sleep with it all night long, and you're getting sound therapy. So you don't have to stop what you're doing to go get your sound therapy. You just go to bed with your iPod and your iPod case, and you're getting sound therapy, specifically vibroacoustics, into the body.
That's fabulous. You mentioned water. How could we get sound through water?
I happen to have these waterproof speakers here, which these are waterproof speakers. You could get them from Parts Express, and you buy the amplifier. This is all on my website. You hook them up with your vibroacoustic iPod, and then you just put them in a foot bath, or you can put them in a hand bath, and you could put your hands in, you could put your feet in, you could take a bath with them, and you can even put them in a crystal bowl, and you can hold the crystal bowl on your lap. But what's really great about these are they become very specific acupuncture or acusonic treatment speakers. So for instance, let's just say you have let's say you had a hip replacement. You put these directly on your hip and you're getting sound therapy directly where you need it. You could put them on your frozen shoulder, you could put it on your head when you get a migraine, or right at the occipital ridge where most of us hold all of our tension.
Right.
These literally become magic tuning forks or magic sound therapy. They're about, I think these are $29 at Parts Express, and the amplifier that goes with it is probably $40. So for $100, you have this amazing vibroacoustic device that goes through water. I personally use 4 at a time, 2 for the feet, 2 for my hands, and then when I take a bath, I put all 4 in.
Oh wow, but you don't necessarily have to use them in water, right?
You don't have to, but these, because they are waterproof, getting sound through water goes through the skin, and it literally changes the interstitial fluid in the body, which is, it's really, to me, the best way to get sound therapy.
Can our scientists hear the sounds our cells are making?
Well, UCLA has what's called an atomic force microscope. And they can tell that a healthy yeast cell in your body vibrates at about a C sharp, which, by the way, so does the earth. And they could tell when a yeast cell is not healthy, and we know we have a lot of unhealthy yeast cells in our body, especially those of us that eat a lot of sugar. And this microscope is so sensitive that it can actually hear when a caterpillar is becoming a butterfly.
Oh, wow.
And it can hear the excruciating pain of that transformation, just like when we're giving birth or maybe crossing over or whatever. But then the beautiful sound of the butterfly after it's a butterfly is really amazing. So yes, our scientists can hear the sounds of our cells.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. It's a great thing that we now know we are an orchestra or a symphony going on inside our body.
A symphony of sound inside our body that we can't even hear.
But we can hear it in our voices. For instance, I have a little cold, so if my daughter heard my voice, she'd go, "Oh, Mom, are you sick?" Yeah, my cells are crying right now because there's a little cold in them.
Right.
But when I'm really happy, you can hear it in your voice. When you're sad, you can hear it in your voice. Every cell is responding to our voice, which, by the way, is the greatest vibroacoustic device we have, is the ability to chant and to tone and to speak loving things. So this we all have, is our voice, the most important vibroacoustic tool we have.
Other than our health, how else is sound being used by scientists?
Again, in France, we have a scientist that developed a 29-second frequency piece that takes tomatoes that can grow at that point 2.5 times its usual growth rate without pesticides. So if you apply this to all of our produce, instead of putting chemicals on it, it can grow twice as fast without chemicals and become much healthier. So our planet really can feed us all healthy products with the help of sound. NASA, of course, is the greatest, they put more money into sound research than anybody, because our astronauts cannot leave the Earth's energy field without the sound of Earth. So they put Earth Schumann resonance generators on the spacecraft. And they also put vibroacoustics on the spacecraft, because our scientists or astronauts come back with severe bone loss from the lack of movement, because they don't get the proper exercise. Even though they try to exercise in space, there's not enough gravity.
Right.
So the bones still don't feel like they're getting the movement that they need. So they use vibroacoustics in space to keep our bones, our astronauts' bones from deteriorating, and also to bring in the Earth's frequency, because without it the astronauts come back very, very sick, nauseous, and so it just keeps them very healthy.
Regina, thank you so much for your time. Well, that's an interesting fact. Now, having learned all of this, my question would be, why aren't we using this technology more nowadays?
Because people don't realize that we're sound. Even though Einstein said energy equals, E equals mc squared, what was that, 100 years ago? I'm not sure. We still don't get that. We still cannot wrap our head around the fact that we are energy. It has been something that science just doesn't want to grasp, doesn't want to let us all know, because they live in a world of matter, logic, and chemicals. They really aren't ready to move into the whole energy thing.